Some time ago, I created a meditation called Rest in the Mess, and it proved really popular and really beneficial to so many people. And it was about 20 minutes long. You can find that on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. So it was requested that I do a longer version, so that's what I'm going to do today for you. Now, this meditation doesn't require anything from you, there are no rules. Um, I just go along, there's no script, I will just go along with it, just see what comes up. And all you need to do is follow along. As I say, there's no rules, there's no, you need to sit in a certain position, or, you can be laying in your bed, you can be sitting down. So, yeah, it's a no rule meditation basically. And, I created this because, often in life we will feel, that we're having all these different emotions, anxieties, anger, perhaps somebody's annoyed us today, whatever it looks like in the messiness of life. And often we'll often try different things, such as therapies or whatever it looks like to help our situation, to help our emotions, to transcend ourselves or anything like that. And sometimes we just don't want to keep trying these different things. Not that there's anything wrong with them in any way, shape, or form. Sometimes we get so sick of it, don't we? We get sick of trying. And so I created this meditation called Rest in the Mess. So let's see, let's just see what comes up for us. I will aim for about 45 minutes perhaps, and I'll keep an eye on the time so you don't have to worry about that. And I'll let you know when we're coming towards the end. And yeah, so let's just see what happens. Now you can close your eyes if that feels comfortable. You could keep them open if you prefer. You could soften your gaze. I may close my eyes at times. I may keep an eye on the time. But let's just see what happens for us. So when you're ready, if you feel like closing your eyes, do that. Get yourself into a position that feels comfortable for you. If you need to move at any time, that's fine. If you need to move position, no rules here. Just giving ourselves a few moments just to get ourselves to a nice position. Perhaps if we're sitting down, we have our feet on the floor, just to ground ourselves into the moment. Our back straight, but not rigid, not tensed. Perhaps if we lay down, we allow our feet to fall to the sides, and our hands to fall to the sides. Just allowing ourselves to be here, getting ourselves into a nice, comfortable position. Taking a deep breath if we need to, or however many we need to take, just to bring ourselves here, just to give ourselves permission to have this time for ourselves. No rules, nowhere to go, nothing to do. We're just listening and following along. Noticing the whole of the body sitting here or lying here. Just noticing now the whole of the body. Perhaps the mind has been busy, perhaps the mind is busy, and this is okay. This is perfectly fine. This is just what minds do. Just allowing perhaps we can notice sounds around us, even if they're subtle. Just noticing that. No need to make a story out of anything or cling to anything. Just noticing and bringing ourselves back to the body. Just noticing the whole of the body sitting here, or lying here. Noticing the breath. No need to change it in any way. Noticing that there may be emotion in the body, whatever that looks like. Just noticing, not needing to change our experience in any way. Perhaps throughout this we will notice an irritation in the body, maybe something that we need to scratch. Just noticing that for a few moments before going ahead and doing something about it. Just allowing. Perhaps the mind has already gone off into thinking, planning, whatever. The moment we notice that, this is absolutely fine. All we have to do is notice. And again, this is not something that we do, it just happens. The noticing just happens. And when we notice that we've noticed, just return to the body, perhaps using the breath as an anchor to this moment. No need to give ourselves a hard time if the mind goes off. This is absolutely common. It happens to everybody. Using any silent pauses in between my voice, just to practice for yourself, just allowing whatever is here, not needing to change our experience in any way. Just noticing. Again, if sounds distract us, whether near or far, the moment we notice that we've gone off into sounds, just allow them to come and go as best as we can. And then returning, perhaps using the breath as an anchor. Or perhaps we can notice the rise and the fall of the shoulders, not needing to change that in any way. Noticing that that happens naturally with the breath. Noticing that we need to do nothing about the breathing. The breath breathes for us. Bringing our attention to the feet. Just noticing what's happening here. Perhaps there's some pain or some tingling. Perhaps we're registering a blank. All of these things are fine. Just noticing the feet. Noticing if the mind wants to rush through this, if we're wondering what comes next, as best as we can, just being okay with this. This is all perfectly natural. It's perfectly common, it happens to everybody. Bringing our attention to the lower part of the legs. Noticing the hard bone at the front, the fleshy area at the back. Nothing we need to do, just noticing. Noticing the knees, the front part of the knees where it's harder than the back. The underside of the knees where it's softer. Just noticing. The upper part of the legs, noticing that this is a bigger area than the lower part of the legs. Perhaps we're now noticing our bottom on the seat, the legs touching the seat or the bed. If we need to move position at any point, just noticing that that's come up in our experience, this needing to move. Just notice that for a few moments before we go ahead and adjust our position. before we itch that irritation. Just a few moments of noticing. Coming up to the stomach area. We often hold on at the stomach area. Can we allow the stomach, the tummy, to loosen, even if it's just a little bit? And if we can't, we just simply be okay with this. No need to force anything. Just noticing the subtle rising and falling of the belly. Remembering when the mind goes off. When we notice this is absolutely fine. We're just going to notice that. It doesn't matter how far off it's gone. We'll be okay with it. The moment of noticing, just bring ourselves back. Perhaps to the tummy where we were focusing on, or to the breathing. Noticing the lower part of the back now, an area where we can so often experience pain, holding on, tension. Whatever that looks like to you. Allowing the lower part of the back to just be. Perhaps we can breathe some air into this area. If that doesn't make sense to you, that's okay. It doesn't need to make sense. All we're doing is noticing, allowing and letting things be just as they are. Noticing the whole of the in-breath and the whole of the out-breath. Noticing that the breathing is happening naturally for us. There's nothing we need to do. Nothing we need to change. Perhaps we have something going on in the chest area. perhaps some tension, some energy in there. For once, can we just allow it? Can we just let it be there? Nothing to run from, nothing to change. Just allowing. Just allowing. Just noticing. Just being with our experience exactly how it is. Just resting. Allowing the body to rest exactly as it is. Noticing again the rise and the fall of the shoulders. This may be very subtle. If any emotion is coming up for us, whatever that may be, tension, sadness, overwhelm, confusion, whatever we're finding here, allowing it, resting with it. Nothing to change, nothing to do, nowhere to go. If tears happen to fall, we're allowing this. Just noticing, just allowing, everything fine. Everything fine just as it is, just as we find it. I'll be silent for some time now, just practicing being with yourself, resting with whatever we find here, not needing to change anything. Remembering when we notice that the mind has gone off into thinking, planning, worrying, or onto noises of the outside world. Nothing we need to do. The moment we notice, simply bring ourselves back to this breath. Or to whatever other anchor point you'd like. This can be the hands, shoulders. Just using those areas as a focal point for our awareness. Can we notice the whole of the back? Noticing that the back breathes with the breath. There's a rising and falling, even if it's very subtle. An expansion and contracting. Noticing the middle of the back moves round with the ribs. And there's an arising and a falling. The back moves up and down, kind of like a wave in the ocean, or a massage of the back. Just noticing this for a few moments. Noticing any discomfort or emotion in the back. Or perhaps we're not noticing anything at all. All of this is fine. It's simply noticed, simply allowed. Just resting. We're just resting with whatever we find here. Even if that's a frog in the throat, just noticing, allowing. Just noticing the subtle rise and fall of the back. Notice that this is doing it for us. This massaging of the body with the breath. It's happening naturally. Bringing our attention to the hand now. Perhaps we can feel the temperature. Perhaps they're cool or warm, clammy, whatever we find here. Just noticing. Nothing we need to do. If we need to move them, that's fine. Noticing that the hands are connected to the arms. Notice the whole of the arms. Connected to the shoulders. Notice that the arms are holding on for us. We don't need any holding on. We don't need to do anything. Noticing any tension in the shoulders and resting with it, allowing it, not needing it to go anywhere, just allowing it to be here, and we're resting with it. Noticing the back of the neck and the throat at the front. Perhaps there's a sense of cool air coming into the throat. Just noticing that, and it may be very subtle. Notice the whole of the head, the back of the head, top of the head. The face. Any tension in our jaw, just noticing. Perhaps we can loosen it just a little. Just being with our experience exactly as it is. Using the silence now to just be with ourselves. To rest with ourselves, with whatever we find in our experience. remembering if we notice that the mind has gone off somewhere, but this is perfectly common. It happens to everybody. And just notice that this has happened. Just return to the breathing, the hands or the shoulders rising, whichever is most comfortable for you. We're not looking for any specific outcome. We're simply following along, just resting with what is here in our experience, not expecting anything special. As we're nearing the end of the meditation, just carrying on resting with our experience, not needing to rush off anywhere. Carrying this meditation into the next moments of our day as best we can. Perhaps we can notice an inner congratulations for ourselves, just a gentle inner congratulations. For following the whole of this meditation. An inner gratitude. Perhaps there's an inner smile. Again, this is just a noticing. And if we don't notice anything, this is fine too. Giving ourselves permission to rest with our experience going forward. Knowing that we can return to this meditation at any time. The benefits are cumulative. So, using this meditation or the others on my channel, mixing them up however you like, the benefits will grow. But we put no time limits on that. Sometimes we may experience difficult times in meditation. Other times not too much in meditation, and other times we may have a nice experience. All of them are beneficial. None of them are needed to be favoured or chased for any other. When you're ready, continuing to rest, you may open your eyes if they were closed. You may want to stretch, move your fingers, your toes, whatever feels best for you.